Okay, it's time for us now to solve an equation that's a little bit more tricky than the ones we were looking at the other day. So this equation here that we have is 7x plus 15 equals 3x minus 5. And we're asked to do two things. We're asked to solve and check. And so I guess I want to use a little bit of color here right away to understand that there's two things we're doing here. We are going to solve and we're going to check this equation. So let's get into the solving process. So one of the big differences here with this equation is that there are variables on each side of the equation. And so that's an extra layer of difficulty that we're going to need to deal with here and figure out how to, overcome. And because that's the biggest thing that's kind of in our way right now, that's actually the first thing that we're going to try and take care of. So I notice that there's 7x on the left-hand side and there's 3x on the right-hand side. And what I want to do is something to the equation, something to both sides, that is going to have x's beyond just one side. So as you think about what are some possible options, the option that we're going to go with is that we're going to subtract 3x from each side. And we're going to subtract 3x from each side because that's going to allow us to get the x's away from the right-hand side, and that there will only be x's on the left-hand side. So as we simplify, the next line is going to say, and the equation now says 4x plus 15 equals negative 5. Notice that x's are only on the left-hand side now, and that's a good thing. This equation now looks a lot like the equations we were solving the other day. So what should we do next? Let's subtract 15 from each side. And subtracting 15 from each side makes us write this. Here we are following the balance method. We simplify again, and now the equation says 4x equals negative 20. And what's the next step? I hope you're thinking that we're going to divide both sides by 4. That would be the perfect next step. And we end up with our solution of x equaling negative 5. Now, in asking ourselves, is that the correct solution? Have we done this right? It's natural for us to think about, have we done the right steps, and does this answer make sense? And remember that checking has us test or try to figure out, is the left side equal to the right side if x equals negative 5? Well, you might notice it's a little bit difficult to actually try and look at that and think about that and just check it in our head like we were doing the other day. And so now it's time to show you what left side, right side checking is all about. So left side, right side checking, and this is what we're going to do in blue over here. Okay, and I did say blue. There we go, blue. Over here, here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to test if the left side and right side are equal to each other when x equals negative 5. So we set up a little t-chart like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to write the left side of the equation, 7x plus 15, on this part, and over here we're going to write 3x minus 5. So what have I done? I've just taken the original equation and written the left side and the right side in their appropriate spots. Now I'm going to replace x with what I think the solution is. So I think the solution is negative 5. I think x is negative 5. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace x with negative 5 on the left side here. And I'm going to evaluate. Well, 7 times negative 5 is negative 35 plus 15, and that equals negative 20. Okay, what does this mean? Well, it doesn't mean anything yet. I still have to check the right side. On the right side, I'm also going to replace x with negative 5. And I'm going to evaluate, so I get negative 15 minus 5 equals negative 20. Okay, so here's what we have just established. We have just established that the left side equals the right side when x is -5. What we have right here is what's known as some equation solving happiness. You see that big smiley face? What this is trying to communicate to you is that we have the correct solution. That yes, in fact, x is equal to -5. And we know that because left side equals right side over here when we check. If we did not have the correct solution of -5, the left side would not equal the right side. And if the left side doesn't equal the right side, well, we have one of two potential problems. Either we have the wrong solution, or, and this one's unfortunate, maybe we're not very good at doing BEDMAS, right? Because look at all that blue math we just did. We have to do that math correctly, which requires us to have good BEDMAS skills. If we don't have good BEDMAS skills, we're not going to get the right solution, or we're not going to get the left side to equal the right side if we're not using good BEDMAS skills. So everything is great when left side equals right side. It's what do we do when left side doesn't equal right side? And of course, the whole point here is left side, right side checking gives us a way to check or verify that our solution is in fact correct.